in the books, and that sucked. I don't have many words that aren't swear words beyond that. The Dallas Cowboys apparently forgot they were supposed to play football games today. They never showed up. They had a couple nice plays on offense, if that. The defense allowed not one, not two, not three, but not four, not five, but 6 straight touchdown drives. And this game was over before it ever really got going. Felt a lot like elements of that Packers playoff game where it's really hard if your defense doesn't get a stop until the fourth quarter. You're just not going to win games that way. It's not realistic. A putrid just awful effort. Any pejorative terms you've got, negative words, they fit. I think there's one grade for the Cowboys today. One grade. It's an F. I believe in democracy, you can give it a D if you want. It's an F. They were terrible. That was a letdown game. The exact thing we warned the Cowboys about. Hey, don't have a letdown game. No Broncos game. No Cardinals game. You had a disastrous effort. You look great in week 1. You look just as bad in week 2. Grade the Cowboys. I think it's an F, but you guys can vote in the comments. Takeaway number 1. And I think this has to be anybody's first takeaway coming out of this performance. I don't think we look at anything else from this matchup and not start with other things we will talk about them. We have to start with that defense. What the hell was that? They got gashed every which way. I'm going to read off some stats in this game, right? You got the raw stats. Derek Carr, 11 of 16, 243. Truly a garbage time interception. That game was over. It was Donovan Wilson, INT. Chris Paul, it's a huge to cut lead to 42. That game was over. Your opening drives for the New Orleans Saints. 7 plays, 80 yards, capped off by a 5 touchdown, but the big play was a 17-yard and a 39-yard throw to Chris Olave. The Saints on that play faced 1 3rd and 2. There was a 70-yard bomb on the first play of the drive to Rashid Shaheed. You're now down 14-3. You get another field goal. You allow a 57-yard screen to Alvin Kamara. The Saints didn't actually start running the ball down your throats until it was already 21-6. You cut that lead to 21-13. Well, how does the defense respond? An 11-play, 70-yard drive in which the Saints got into a 3rd and 6. They got the first down. A 3rd and 3, got the first down. There were 3 third downs the Saints faced in the first half. They had as we'll get into, not the quarterback's fault on the interception because the receiver fell down like an idiot. The Saints cap it off with a quick scoring drive. You get a late field goal. It's 35-16.5. Game's over. Game was over before halftime. You can't have that. It is so hard to win football games when you don't force a punt and or force a stop until the fourth quarter. You can't win like that. That's not realistic. It requires superhuman efforts from everybody else on your team. That's just not fair to ask of them. So give me your one-word reaction to the Cowboys game against the Saints. One word only. Go vote, especially if the ad comes here on YouTube. Seriously, guys, the defense fucking sucked today. You can't play like this. This Cowboys team, the things we were worried about is, hey, your defense didn't play very well down the stretch last year. Are we a little bit worried about that? We had concerns. Think about what this Cowboys defense has done over the past, since late November, right? You do a great job against the Browns. 44 points allowed against the New Orleans Saints. That's not going to work well. You allow 48 against Green Bay. Is it all the defense's fault? No. Take away 7, whatever we want to take away. You played great against the Commanders, but you allowed 31 against the Bills. You got gashed by Seattle for 35. Your defense, statistically speaking, since after the Thanksgiving game last year, has been a lot closer to a bottom 10 defense than a top 5 defense. You got to figure something out here because this isn't sustainable. If your defense is just as likely to allow 10 points as it is to allow 35-40, I can't do anything in the postseason. I'll give a lot of credit to the Saints. Saints played awesome. It's a Shanahan-based scheme. You had play action issues. You had motion issues. Couldn't stop the run after the first 3 drives. Oh, a lot like that Green Bay game. How many times in our watch party did I say, wide open guy, wide open guy? Got to figure stuff out here. Maybe you don't have the horses. That's probably a front office issue. But I don't want to give them more horses if this is how they're going to play. I'll fire Mike in the offseason and hire a new head coach. That cannot be Mike Zimmer, by the way. Today's show is made possible by Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app, helps finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, helps lower your bills, all so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and stole over $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Cowboys and use Rocket Money to monitor the things. You don't want to pay 2, streaming services bills, or I was getting double charged for a phone bill. It's annoying. Go to rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. That's rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. There's a couple different trends that tend to emerge in these types of games for Dallas. Defense is a no-show, can't get a stop, they get gashed on the run and in the air. And one of your biggest consistencies in these losses by the Dallas Cowboys, last 3 years, your run game does not show up. Nobody ran the ball well for Dallas. Again. Rico Dowdle, 7 carries, 30 yards. Ezekiel Elliott, 6 carries for 16 yards. Deuce Vaughn, 4 carries, 11 yards. Dak Prescott had 2 carries for 12 yards. He was your most efficient runner. That's bad. That's not who he is anymore. Kevontae Turpin, 1 carry, 2 yards. Brandon Cooks, 1 carry, -3 yards. Get to the blame on that one in a little bit. But if you take away the reverse to Cooks and the Dak scrambles, you've got 18 carries in this football game for 55 yards. That's bad, guys. It's really bad. I can't have that. They tried to run the football early, and they couldn't. This is still a problem for the Cowboys. No explosive plays. There's none. They've run the ball almost 20 times now with running backs. They have 1 explosive play. That's it. You can't keep doing run, pass shit and say, 3rd and 7, go save us. It's not good coaching. It's not good game planning. They tried to run the ball early. It was bad. It was profoundly bad. I don't want you guys to miss any Dallas Cowboys news. We'll do our Overreaction Monday as well. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. In terms of the majority of the blame, not put on the quarterback, not put it on the wide receiver. Do they get some blame? Absolutely. But the only way you were going to win this football game was a Herculean, never-before-seen effort out of Dak and Lamb because nobody else showed up on offense. You missed Jake Ferguson. He had the stupid, bad decision interception late. First one was not his fault. Frankly, you actually kind of moved the ball pretty well in the first half of that game, but the other side of the ball never showed up. And you probably got to get the ball more to CeeDee Lamb. I do think these 2 players, Dak and Lamb, got to iron out some of their connection issues because CeeDee Lamb didn't catch a pass in the second half of the football game. You know why? Because the Saints know they're going to have to force feed it to CeeDee Lamb. First half, your quarterback was 13 of 17 for 144, a TD and an INT. The INT, of course, not, because I'll get that in a little bit. If I had showed you that stat line and your quarterback's got a high completion percentage, on pace for just shy of 300 yards, that's probably pretty good. The problem was you got, I don't know, a B first half and a C second half out of the passing game. Got an F from the ground game and an F from the defense. That's not going to work. I genuinely believe in this game because the first 2 points still stand. You could have put Roger Staubach, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Des Bryant, CeeDee Lamb, prime Witten for all these guys, Larry Allen, prime healthy Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, Eric Williams. You could put the best 11 players in Cowboys history on offense, and you're not going to win that game because you didn't get stops on defense until the Saints were up by 20-something and just stopped trying. That's the only time it happened. It's not going to work. There's plenty of blame to go around. Who do you blame the most? I think defense in general is probably where you're going to start. So let me know in the comments of today's show. I got a bone to pick in particular with Jalen Brooks. Because, like, your biggest mistakes on offense in the first half, both came from him. You actually called a pretty good reverse play to Brandon Cooks. It was blocked, except Jalen Brooks gets beat on said block, and it's a loss of 3. Maybe he scores, maybe he doesn't. It was blocked. You're asking to say to come cross field to make a play. That was going to be a huge pickup in the red zone. They stopped it. And then the interception that kind of put this game out of reach officially, it's a good throw with anticipation over the middle, deep in to Jalen Brooks. Falls down. He falls down. He caught 3 targets, 1 catch, 10 yards. Stop with the Jalen Brooks reps. I don't put Ryan Flournoy out there. I want to bench Jalen Brooks. I don't care about special teams. You can't do that. You can't be trying to pull off. When you're trying to pull off a miracle on offense, you have to be clicking. And you're falling down on it was a perfectly placed throw. Gonna hit him right here. Right here. Because the corner caught it right here. Because the receiver fell down. You can't have that, man. Also, valid question mark, why are we calling up deep digs to Jalen Brooks? You also called a 4th down play for frickin' Brevin Span Ford and for Brooks in the second half. Why are we doing that? Why? Some keys to victory. Pressure Derek Carr. Didn't happen. Boy, he had all damn day in that pocket. They did not get home against him. Better 3rd down play. You actually did have this. You were at 6 of 13 on 3rd downs. Actually pretty good. Now you were 1 of 3 on 4th down, so kind of negates some of that. But that was also like late in the game, and you also went for it on 4th and 9 from your own 11, so like who cares? You were good on 3rd downs, but you faced 13 3rd downs versus 6 of 6 to start the game for the Saints with about double the yards to go. Bad. Feed CeeDee Lamb. The numbers look fine. I need more, and I think they bracketed him a lot. You need to get somebody else that defenses fear. Tolbert finished the game 6 catches, 82 yards. Okay, but no one feared him. Made a great catch, though. But no one feared him. You didn't stop the run. 5 yards per carry before the kneel downs came into play. You were terrible. And you failed at step 5. I said no letdown game. This is a textbook letdown game. It's like the Denver one from years ago. Maybe even worse on defense and moderately better on offense. But like 35 to 16 at the half. The game was over. Defense didn't show up until the game was long out of reach. And it was too much for the offense to overcome when you kind of run into the same issue as the Browns game, right? Like a defense just sit back, play 2-eye shell, and say, okay, take 6 yards at a time. Terrible. Terrible by the Dallas Cowboys.